Maybe he was giving payments for training. Maybe he was giving payments for weapons, because you cannot shoot these weapons without training. There is no way you can operate these weapons without training at a high rate of speed. I don't think there was one misfire in the whole time he was shooting. They said they shot from 9 to 11 minutes. I mean, at 600 rounds a minute, how many rounds is that? It's unbelievable. A lot of people felt that they were being shot at field level, that it just wasn't coming from the top. So there's a lot of stuff that has to come out here. When you listen to the video, when you look at the receipt, and when you see that cab driver, I mean, when you see that cab driver, and by the way, that cab driver goes on to pick up wounded survivors that were running through the street to be able to do this. So, we definitely have, and, Sam has pointed this out. We have the breaking news with the receipt, but we definitely have here that the information is kind of being kept from the public at this point. And I think what President Trump was trying to say today was something's going to come out in the next 24 to 48 hours. So we're kind of waiting for it. But in the meantime, check out Sam posts on, Trump Talk equals straight talk, and we continue to get out there and bring you the news that they won't talk about. It's funny, they did the same thing in Puerto Rico to President Trump. President Trump had a very successful trip to Puerto Rico, but they wouldn't cover it when he was giving out supplies and so on and so forth. And
yeah, because after Irma, his quick response to provide provisions and provide 14,000 first responders to Puerto Rico after Irma.
Yeah.
Okay, and we didn't expect Maria to hit it, but you know what? Let's give them anyway, because now we have Maria coming up, so they need more help than ever, and so forth. And for this woman, this mayor of San Juan,
yeah,
who praised them before, and now, like you said before on the last show, that a corrupted congressman, Luis Gutierrez, went to Puerto Rico and gave her shirt saying, "Hey, we're dying here." And all of a sudden, she went on a political anti-Trump rant, and then behind her, there were provisions there that hasn't been distributed yet.
Yes.
Because her and the Teamsters and the Democrats, they stood down to embarrass this president.
Well, that's what we have. Luis Gutierrez is a Chicago congressman. He's pro-sanctuary city. He's basically anti-American, anti-President Trump. And really, President Trump did a great job, and so did the first responders down in for all the hurricanes in Texas and in Florida. And again, they did another great job in Puerto Rico. It's just that Puerto Rico had some logistics. It was talked that the Teamsters wouldn't drive the trucks on Puerto Rico because they were told by the Democrats to stand down. The scenario that Sam just spoke to you about was not even reported in the news at all. One guy who was a guest on Fox, he was a guest on Tucker's program, a Spanish gentleman. He was the guy who had the inside scoop and knew that Luis Gutierrez sent her a T-shirt that said, "We're dying." She did an interview in that T-shirt, "We're dying out here," on MSNBC. Once she did that interview, everybody knew what was going on. They said, "How do you have no money for water and food, yet you have money to make T-shirts?" Well, Jose Gutierrez brought the T-shirt. They're trying to create political theater. Now, Sam had reported this in shows earlier, that they have these actors that come out, and CNN tries to set up the scene and portray it as if something's happening to make their narrative go, and it's all fake news, So the fake news that we've had out of CNN and the mainstream networks have been basically all the same. The guy's an accountant, the guy's this, the guy's that. Now you have the twin brother saying he's basically an arms dealer. From being an accountant to an arms dealer, that sure flew pretty fast. And then when you hear the rapid fire, Sam, you have to be trained to shoot that weapon. Maybe he was in the Philippines getting training from Abu Sayyaf. Maybe ISIS.
He was taking trips to the Philippines and to the Middle East. And you know what? Because he was getting trained on these high-power weaponry. Why is he sending those transactions? It's not to build a home in the Philippines. It's an arms exchange. He gives you money, we'll give you ammunition. Okay? And believe me, do you think that background checks will stop this maniac from committing this heinous act? Absolutely not. And let me tell you this.
Yes.
The Democrats, they already have legislation, gun control legislation already in place.
Yeah, the Democrats had gun control legislation already in place. It really looks bad when Hillary Clinton came out 5 minutes afterward and said about gun control. It's an unseemly.
Let's stand up against the NRA and the gun-toting Republicans.
Well,
yeah.
It's a very unseemly attitude to take. The country has rebelled against it. You have Hollywood and people that wish the Trump supporters in that crowd. Now, look, it's not a far stretch to believe that this guy is an Antifa guy, an anti-Trump guy. There's video now that I reposted on Trump Talk Equals Straight Talk, which shows him protesting President Trump at an anti-Trump rally. We have it, and it's a couple of anti-Trump rallies. We have that footage. Google and Facebook wiped it the other day, but we got it back, and we put it just now on Trump Talk Equals Straight Talk. You can see this guy, this killer, is protesting President Trump. And who is in the audience? Now, Sam immediately after this happened, Sam gave me this scenario. So it's really Sam's deductive thinking and reporting. Who's at this giant 22,000 country concert? Oh, Republicans. Oh, NRA guys. Oh, who else is there? Trump supporters. And this guy was a rabid anti-Trump supporter. And what we have is the media, and me and Sam spoke about this before, the media, CBS, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, Jimmy Kimmel, Channel 2, that guy, whoever he is, and everybody, they're fomenting anti-Trump, anti-Republican, anti-people.
Oh, yeah, Stephen Colbert. You have
Yes.
Trevor Hall, and we have that other late night talk show on CBS who was also British. Oh, they were pushing for gun control.
Right.
You see, these are the kind of hypocrites who they have $1 million homes. I mean, sophisticated security fences all around their homes, and 24/7 armed security. But you see, the forgotten men and women who work for this president, they can't afford all these luxuries at their salary, so they have to protect themselves from family and property against anyone, could be foreign or domestic. But you see, their demented ideological bubble, tone deaf bubble, was causing all this division in our nation.
And instead of Hillary Clinton, and instead of the Democrats, and instead of these people, Jimmy Kimmel praising the Las Vegas Police Department, the first responders. There was a guy from California who was a firefighter. He jumped in there, started saving people. There was another police officer from California who saved other people, but his wife got killed. His wife was in the crowd. He told his wife to run. She got killed, and he was still saving people. The Democrats will not talk about this. The mainstream media won't talk about this. They won't show it. I posted a video on Trump Talk Equals Straight Talk about a woman in a hospital who said the cab driver saved me. She was shot in the stomach. She had to jump over people. She had to jump over a fence, get herself in a cab. A cab driver took her to the hospital, and he took her to the trauma center, or else she wouldn't have been alive. We have hundreds and thousands of stories like this that the Democrats are talking about gun control. It just reminds you they are aligned with the NFL protest, which is failing. They are aligned with socialism. They are aligned with and the protests against the flag, the protests against the
American sentiment. Okay, they are globalists. They are globalists. I mean, even in Congress, there are a bunch of Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House. He's a globalist. Mitch McConnell, a globalist, okay? They only care about getting their six-figure taxpayer salaries, and also aligning with globalist companies like Big Pharma and other globalist entities, so that they can stay in positions of power, and they don't care about their constituencies so much. They only care about themselves.
And they're not talking about the great first responders. They're not talking about the great things about this country, the great things that this president has done.
Look, 45 minutes or probably an hour before this horrendous attack occurred, everybody when they were Big Rich were singing "God Bless America." Everybody who attended this concert, they took their cell phones and light up their cell phones, and there were they were, they joined. They were singing in solidarity towards our flag, towards America, towards our anthem. And I mean, that was precious. And the mushmouth media, they're not reporting that.
Well,
Pushing gun control, on silencers. Oh, they were saying that this shooter was a normal accountant. He was not a bad guy. He was normal like everyone else.
And now his brother basically calls him an arms dealer, where his brother said yesterday he didn't know anything about it. So, I mean, this is unraveling because of the information that the independent news warrior Sam is bringing to the table and other people are bringing to the table. It's like the first responders who respond. We just respond. We just respond to the tragedy. We respond. And these other gun control, anti-American forces, it's the same thing with the protests in the NFL. How in the world can you kneel or sit for the flag after this tragedy happened on Sunday? On Monday Night Football, they had players that were kneeling and sitting for the anthem. People turned it off. Monday night ratings crashed. Can you blame them? The anti-American forces in the world have been helped by the previous administration. But this administration, President Trump's administration, has beaten them back, have pulled back all the Obama regulations, has got our embassy workers out of Cuba and realized that that was a setup, is going to get rid of the Iran deal because that was giving $150 billion to our enemies. President Trump is fighting the deep state, the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, whoever's in the deep state appointed by President Clinton and President Obama. And of course, over at the State Department, you have the most deep state people. So President Trump is continuing to make progress. And then we have Democrats who are only anti-American in this country. They only want to talk about gun control. They don't want to talk about the first responders. Sam, they should be talking about the first responders on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC. They should be talking about the great law enforcement that we have in this country that, by the way, the last administration was disparaging left and right.
And there you have it. I'm telling you, this smells of deep state coup d'etat. They were part of this coordinated, organized, staged attack that happened in Las Vegas. I'm telling you, I smell deep state involvement in this. Because come on, what does that tell you? Because let me tell you this. Okay, look what happened when Scalise got shot.
Yeah.
Okay, we were discussing about this between shows. Okay, this happened before Trump won 5-0 in some of these special elections. Okay, and this has happened before. And tell me this: I think the Democrats, they went frothing in the mouth, apoplectic, and they said, you know what? We need to find someone, and we need to gun down Republicans. So let me finish. And then what they try to do is trying to kill as many Republicans in that rehearsal, so that they can conduct their own special elections, and the Democrats will have a golden opportunity to take those special seats, so that they can take over either the House or the Senate, and then they'll have the power to impeach Trump. That is their modus operandi. I smell deep state all around. Not only in that incident that happened with Congressman Scalise, but also here in Las Vegas as well.
Well, I tell you, the Scalise incident, which was underreported and undercovered by everybody in the mainstream media, this guy was a Bernie supporter. He was a rabid Democrat. In fact, this guy in Las Vegas, he's a registered Democrat. We have film of him protesting President Trump with rabid anti-Trump protesters. So it's not out of the box that Sam is talking about, especially in the Scalise shooting, when the guy went to the ball field. And how did he know to go to the ball field? How did he know that? And we didn't really have reporting on that. We know that the Southern Poverty Law Center really put Steve Scalise's name out there as one of the dangerous people in Congress. So the Southern Poverty Law Center, I don't know if they gave the schedule of the baseball games out there or whatever, but this guy knew about it. And again, you have this meticulous planning. He said, these Democrats are Republicans, because he didn't want to shoot Democrats. And then you take it a step further that Sam is saying, President Trump is winning these special elections, and then all of a sudden, and by the way, they didn't just want to shoot one Republican on that field. They wanted to get a bunch of Republicans on that field, is what Sam was talking about. And then all of a sudden they have to have special elections for all these dead Republicans. It's the rhetoric of the left. It's the rhetoric of the Democrats. It's the rhetoric of MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, the Washington Post, the New York Times. They have made it okay